Welcome to the Marketing Revolution podcast. This is the underground movement of savage marketers from all over the world. We are not Fortune 500 companies. We are real entrepreneurs with real businesses that have one major thing in mind: to set goals and devour them daily. Because we understand that everyone wants to eat, but only savage marketers are willing to do the hunt. Now let's get this revolution started. Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with the Marketing Revolution podcast. Chilling here with my co-host that brings the most, Angela Hiley, my beautiful wife.
You're so fucking cheesy.
I'm so cheesy. I know, right?
Cheesy.
Sometimes cheesy is where it's at.
That is true.
I just want to kind of clue all of you listeners in on what's going on right now. I am literally in a storm of marketing at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
So we literally currently, we're in a pre-launch phase. And I've actually been, for the very first time, this is the third time that I've launched my live event. And for this third time, I actually chose to do a formula launch. And it's, in fact, the day before I was getting ready to open up the checkout, I got myself caught in a situation where I could actually sit down and listen to the book, because I'll tell you, the first 2 hours...
Got yourself in a pickle.
I got myself in a little bit of a pickle, but I want to say that I'm happy that I did, because I was able to sit there, correct a problem, and listen to this audiobook that was boring the shit out of me for the first 2 hours. I was literally going to go find Jeff Walker and fly to his house and punch him in his face because it was boring me so much between the first 2 hours. And Jeff Walker is such a nice guy, but it was driving me crazy. And I'm like, if this guy tells one more story about a success student on this program that I haven't purchased from him, I'm going to find him and destroy him. And but lo and behold, right when I was getting ready to quit on it, I kept playing the book, and he just opened up and gave so many strategies. This guy gave so many resources that I literally called my business partner in California and I said, dude, we got to stop. I was like, we're doing it wrong. And granted, we have sold out our events. We have had a great turnout, but you're always looking to build a stronger sales process that creates the type of momentum and the excitement that you want to see at the event. Mm-hmm. And that's what really got me... basically just got me going towards this, the Jeff Walker's formula. The book is called Launch. And while doing that, I mean, I just been in so much stuff. I mean, I've been literally like indulging in audiobook after audiobook. I feel like I'm in this launch / major learning phase. And what a perfect time. What a perfect time. I'm launching a subscription area inside of my personal website that's going to be available to people who want very, very strong marketing training. They want to learn how to, amp their marketing up in like an hour a week. Mm-hmm. And that's some of the things that I actually only teach to event attendees. And granted, the event attendees, it's a $3,000 ticket. It's not a cheap event. People come out and I usually head the event off. I close the event out, and I do a bunch of speaking in between. We have speakers, we have photographers that come in, we have videographers that come in. And when people actually leave our event, not only do they get the marketing knowledge they need, they actually get the content in hand. That's what kind of makes the event different. But, I know a lot of you listeners out there are in different service-based industries. The event is available only for the dent removal industry. So I don't even think this style of event, I would know how to scale it to a roofer, or I would know how to scale it to a doctor. I mean, I can kind of imagine, but I just don't know how I'd even talk to them. So I'm pretty comfortable just doing it in our industry right now. But it's good. It's good getting your feet wet. And I'll tell you, when we launched our first event, we actually never even have done an event between me and my business partner. We never actually done a live event. And somehow between just our years of expertise in marketing, and he's really big on YouTube, and he's big on He's a speaker as well. He gets out there, he puts himself out in the public spotlight, and both of us were just able to put our personalities together. And actually, the first one we pulled it off really, really well. The second one, we did hire an assistant and a event coordinator, which was a godsend. I mean,
Yes.
it really helped out a lot. I mean, this poor girl literally followed me around, the guy who forgets everything, and just writes down everything that I was going to forget. And that was a great thing, because when the event was over, I'm looking at her like, what am I doing again? And she's like, just had notes after notes after notes. She kept me on point. She kept a lot of our systems and processes on point. So, I'm not going to front. I mean, we are still in the phase in our events that we're actually trying to systemize it. And it's getting close. After this third event's coming up, it's getting close as far as systemizing the back end structure of it, But that being said, we've had nothing but people giving us thumbs up, and everybody loves it. We've changed a lot of people's lives. I mean, we've seen people today. We have one guy who literally, his name's Cole, and he's from out in Colorado. He went from a small operation to a massive operation during about 6 months' time. And he's just doing unbelievable. We got a guy named Ryan in New Orleans that's just doing phenomenal. I mean, I could just go one person after the next. I mean, as far as the proof of our system, what people are getting out of it, it's just great. And one of the big things that I learned while I was reading Jack Walker's book, Launch, or I say read, but I do Audible, so I was listening to it. One of the big things I learned was to give away more really great content, because there's a lot of folks out there who may want to do business with you, but ultimately at the end of the day, when you do business with somebody, there's got to be a strong level of trust there. And if you maintain a wall of teasers, a wall of just giving people a little bit and pulling it back, they can't see anything. There's a wall there. They don't get the type of trust relationship that you want to build with somebody who wants to be part of your event or your program. So I decided, after listening to his book, I think he calls that the sideways sales letter. And he talks about how the old sales letters would kind of tease you and try to get you to opt in and then buy, and then you get the content. Well, nowadays everything's going towards transparency. It's going towards giving great content first. And when people begin to receive that, then they build trust. In fact, you could give good enough content where people could change their life with it. And from my experience, out of the people that we've worked with throughout the years, if you change somebody's life and you put things out there that change their life, that number one, they will make the amount of money needed to step up into your value ladder and purchase something from you of more value. So you're literally helping them put money in their pocket, so at one point they can afford to purchase any of your better services. Another key that I learned from a business coach named Eric Graham was that when you do deliver these services, there's a kind of a law and a rule out there. It's called the 10X. Basically meaning that if somebody purchases something for $30, it should have a perceived value of $300. If somebody purchases something from you for $300, it should have a perceived value of $3,000. Okay? So I talk a lot about how I can prove how people, when they come to our media events, that I can 10X their investment that they made with me. Because that's easy. I mean, if they follow the formula, $3,000 with all of these marketing strategies and actually getting the tools to implement them, $30,000 additional dollars in a year is not hard. But that is my bottom goal, is to be able to 10X their investment that they made with me. And that's why that's part of my marketing. That's why that's part of my goals. I mean, I know that we can do it if they take a very little amount of time and begin to implement, the strategies that we put in play. That being said, though, one of the things and one of the reasons why I want to talk to you guys about persuasion because I do believe that it's something that you got to get comfortable with before the type of advertisement and the strategies that you want to put together to attract your ideal clients and your ideal customers. Mm-hmm. You know, and one of the ones that I want to talk about today is scarcity. I kind of want to say scarcity and urgency.
Ooh, urgency.
Kind of go hand in hand. I mean, the bottom line is scarcity drives the price on everything. Mm-hmm. And everybody wants something that's unique. I mean, that's why women want diamonds, because it is one of the most precious.
I would say not all women want diamonds.
Well, you do. Don't look at me like you don't want diamonds. Who wanted the 2 carats earrings not too long ago?
Would be what, a carat in each ear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like hooked on that.
A carat in each ear.
Yeah.
But the reason why she wanted them, I mean, if I was to tell her that I could go get her some cubic zirconias that...
No.
Well, they're not rare. They're not scarce.
No,
Okay?
I want the fake shit.
Right. It's fake because it's not rare. I mean, there's nothing fake about a cubic zirconia. It's a cubic zirconia. It's just fake if you consider it to be a diamond.
Yeah.
You know?
But I guess what I was thinking is that maybe there was some other things that I would want ahead of that before the diamonds.
But at one point you were stuck on the diamonds until I bought you your LeBron James jersey.
Yes. No, but signed.
Right.
It's
there
just
you go
not
again.
just a LeBron James jersey.
It's signed by LeBron
It's
James.
signed by LeBron James.
Now, why would we want that above and beyond just a regular LeBron James jersey? Because it's rare and it's scarce.
Yeah.
Okay, so LeBron James is not the guy who cranks out a shit ton of jerseys. He's not the Pete Rose. You could go buy Pete Rose anything.
Yeah.
Because Pete Rose got to the bottom of his... probably the bottom of his income, and he just started cranking out signatures, not realizing that supply and demand at one point was going to override the actual value of his product.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you can go buy a Pete Rose baseball for $20. When
Really?
I would say, and I want to say that a LeBron James basketball, I mean, a baseball is not much more expensive than a basketball. You go compare them. I mean, we're talking like an NBA basketball and a baseball. I mean, there's really no value in the actual. I mean, what, $50 for one, and then maybe $100 for one, and then maybe $30 for the other. The value is in the signature.
Yeah.
On the 2 items, and but the thing is, though, a LeBron James basketball, you're going to be paying $1,000 for one that's verified, and one that's been signed by LeBron James.
Yeah.
Like I said, you could literally probably go pick up a Pete Rose baseball for $20 to $40. There's just so many of them out there. He actually put himself in the position where it's not as rare or not as scarce. And I'm even talking about in his prime. I remember as a kid seeing Pete Rose stuff just floating around everywhere. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what I guess I want you guys to like kind of consider, that's a form of persuasion, because most people tend to procrastinate, or most people will tend to put off a buying decision to some other day, you know? Mm-hmm. How can you structure your marketing where when they contact your company, you know, they feel that your service is scarce? Maybe you have a good, I'll talk about this later, a USP, which is a unique selling proposition. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you have a great unique selling proposition. And at the point of contact, you let them know that, you know, maybe, for instance, for me, for my company, it's always been that we're booked out. And people have to wait in line to get their cars fixed. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of created a nostalgia when you couple that with the amount of reviews that we have, and you couple that with that I own an educational, or the biggest educational system in our industry. That's a unique selling proposition that I have. And one of the reasons that I use that along with the scarcity is because it's something that not everybody can use. Mm-hmm. For instance, if I sat you down and asked you, I said, what makes your business better than all of your competition? What would you tell me? I guarantee you most of you guys are sitting there and you're saying, I've been doing this for 20 years and we're a family-owned business. Well, guess what? You're just like everybody else. You just blended into Almost every business that's around you, go look at their website. They're going to be talking about how many years they were in business. They're going to be talking about how they may be family owned. That doesn't make you unique. That makes you just the same as everybody else. Mm-hmm. A unique selling proposition is something that positions you above and beyond and better than all of your competitors. It's not hard to find. And I don't know what industry you're in, or I don't know what you're representing, but it's not hard to find if you really start to dig deep and understand what your company really has to offer. Mm-hmm. Maybe it is the quality of your service, but you can put a guarantee behind the quality of your service that no competitors would be willing to stand behind. Mm-hmm. I want to say one of the other unique selling propositions that we offered, and this was years ago, back when our industry was, and it's still, the marketing's still bad, but there's people that are getting better at it. In fact, but this was years ago when the marketing was really poor. It was more like, hey, I do this. I'm Joe. Here's my about me. I fix dents, and here we go. Here's some before and after pictures that look really bad, and a lot of stuff on the websites was filled with industry jargon, things that customers would read and not even understand. We all have that. Mm-hmm. We all have industry jargon that we use. I can't even tell you how many people tell somebody that they do PDR, which is the it's like an abbreviation for paintless dent removal. Mm-hmm. And no customer on planet Earth, other than very, very educated ones, is even going to understand what that is. Mm-hmm. So one of the unique selling propositions that we had years ago that sold our service over and over and over again was a satisfaction guarantee policy coupled with a lifetime written warranty.
Yeah.
And when we coupled them with a lot of the videos, early on I was putting videos out on our websites, and I can't even tell you how many times a video has sold something for us.
Yeah, but you were also doing like, what was it? You were having customers do testimonials on video.
Right. That's what I kind of liked about anytime a customer asked me for a little discount, even if I was out there and I just knew it was a good guy,
Yeah.
And, maybe, to a lot of people, $500, $600, it doesn't seem like a lot of money, but there's also a lot of people it seems like a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
And occasionally I get somebody that's like, I know I could probably save this guy a little bit of money. I'd offer to knock off $50, $100 if he would stand in front of my camera and give me a testimonial. And because I knew, okay, so like it's so cheap. That is such a good deal to pay somebody $50 or $100 who really, who's given a real testimonial.
Yeah.
Because once you put them testimonials up on YouTube and when you put them on your website, we're talking about creating a system of marketing inside of your company that sells 24/7.
Yeah.
It's like having a salesman.
Yeah.
Pitching for you.
Yeah.
But it's a customer. And when people visualize that and they see that on your website, they see themselves in that happy customer's shoes.
Don't you remember, I think it was like that one customer, I forget where it was, but wasn't he like, he was out of work at the time and it was his wife's car that had like a nasty dent or something?
Yeah, I remember that guy. And I have the video on my website still today.
Yeah, and he was so tickled. He was just like, he was so happy you were going to give him a discount. And then he was like so thrilled and tickled to...
Yeah, and I even told him, I said, well, if I come out there and I give you this discount, and if you're happy with my work, would you be willing to do a testimonial for me? Mm-hmm. And they'll say, sure. I mean, it's not like you're giving them the farm away, but $100 is a good deal for a live customer testimonial.
Oh, absolutely.
No matter how, and I, not all times have I paid for it. There's times that people just offered, to give me a testimonial on camera. Highly recommend in your business and your company to carry a video camera around. And if you're worried about the, or actually you got a camera in your pocket normally. Yeah. I mean, I could do it with my iPhone right now, no problem at all. And if you're actually worried about the video quality, I wouldn't worry about that. I mean, really, ideally, if it's a little bit shaky and a customer and a client would know that was real, it would have a much more real feeling to it than somebody sitting in their living room where everything's nice and they're dressed up nicely. And I mean, like literally, I'm not kidding you guys. You can go right now to Fiverr.com and you can pay somebody to read your testimonials. and do video for you. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm not totally against that. I've never done it, but I'm not against it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do, but that it just wouldn't, it's not near as good as something that's, I think it's something that's unscripted and something where the customer really just talks.
It's being very genuine.
Yeah. And then we live in a big military city here, and there's been a lot of years where we've worked with the military. We have a charity called the Dents for Kids, and we also where we give it to the Marines, you know, for the Toys for Tots, and then we also have a where we were given to the what is that?
Hannah's Treasure Chest.
Hannah's Treasure Chest, and then also to the Wounded Warrior Project. So very military-friendly city, and we've had a testimonial with a man coming in military uniform, and I honestly don't think there's anything better than that. Mm-hmm. With especially with my client base, I try to run off certain type of people, you know, and I try to I try to do business with people that are like me, you know. I believe we'll get along better and it'll be a better relationship. And because of that, the type of people that I tend to attract in my business would honor somebody in a military uniform, mm-hmm. and would respect that person is given a testimonial, mm-hmm. you know. So, but that's it, guys. I mean, get scarce. You know, understand the power of persuasion, because I'm telling you guys today, okay, you guys kind of heard my story. You heard how I'm passionate about my business and what I do. I went above and beyond each and every day, and it's not like you got to like do it all the time. I mean, if you got one thing, if you covered one little piece of ground per week for the next year, it would literally change your client base. It would have people beating a path to your door. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, that's what you want. It's a lot easier to sell somebody your product or service if they are knocking on your door. Mm-hmm. What, as Dan Kennedy says, he says you become a welcome guest rather than an unwanted pest. Which is a really good quote there.
I like that.
All right, everybody. So we're going to finish up this episode due to time here. And next episode, we are going to still be talking about another law of persuasion. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to see you on that next one.
And remember, it's all about the hustle.
Boing.
Holla.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to the Marketing Revolution podcast. If you know somebody that needs this message, please share it with them. Please write us a 5-star review on iTunes or Stitcher. And remember, everybody wants to eat, but only savage marketers are willing to do the hunt. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.